Okay, welcome to the LinkedIn Insider Secrets Training. I am Greg Wells, and today in this training we are going to be covering what works best on LinkedIn to get hired. There are lots of things that I could teach you about LinkedIn, and you could be learning about LinkedIn for months. But what we're going to focus on today is what works best to get hired and what gets the best results in the least amount of your time. And that's what I would recommend you do more of. Spend more of your time doing what works best instead of doing lots of different things in your job search. We're also going to cover today LinkedIn's newest secret weapon. It's an application called LinkedIn Signal. It's free, and I'm going to show you how to get it and how to use it and how other people are using it to get tremendously fast results in their job search. Everything that I teach you today can be done with the free account on LinkedIn. I don't actually recommend that you get the paid account on LinkedIn. And that includes our third topic, how to be found on LinkedIn and how to become the hunted. Also today, we're going to go into a full-blown Q&A session at the top of the hour. Please hold your questions until we get into the Q&A session. That will be at 12 o'clock Eastern, and that'll run for about another 30 to 60 minutes, depending upon how many questions everyone has. At the end of today's training, I do have a bonus for you guys. I'm going to do a bonus training on the 3 biggest mistakes everyone makes on LinkedIn. And then I'll also have a special bonus giveaway at the end. So be sure to stick around until the very end of the Q&A today. Again, that'll probably be at about the top of the second hour. In order to fit everything in today, one part that I'm not going to be able to cover is a breakdown of the LinkedIn paid account and how you can get all of those same features for free. This is really good stuff, and I did promise you guys this. So what I'm going to do is send a video to you on Monday that's going to show you how to do this, because I want you to have this and I don't want you to be paying for the paid account. So look for that video on Monday. Like I said before, I don't like having my content floating around the internet on video, so I'm going to post that for one day on Monday. It's only a short 6 or 7 minute video. You'll need to go watch that on Monday because we won't have time to cover that here today. So before we start, just a few things I would recommend is, first of all, grab a pen to take some notes, a pen and paper. If you're trying to type in your notes as we go, I think you're going to find that you miss things because we've got a lot that we're going to be covering, and you're not going to want to be looking away from our screen at all. Also, if you're already a member of LinkedIn, please go ahead and open up your LinkedIn in another browser tab. Put in your username and password and get yourself all logged into LinkedIn. Do that right now. That way, when we get into some of the hands-on portions of this training, you'll be ready to go, and you can easily follow along on your account. There's going to be some things that I'm going to show you, and you're going to need to see it on your end in order to really get the most out of this training. So go ahead and get yourself logged into LinkedIn. Megan had already introduced me previously, but just a quick note on myself. I'm Greg with an I, Greg Wells. I hope we're all connected on LinkedIn. If not, this is my contact information so that you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Also, as you can see from this screenshot, I've been a member of LinkedIn since 2005. So I've really grown up on LinkedIn as a recruiter. I started using LinkedIn in 2005 as my own personal recruiting database, and I was making a killing as a recruiter, and my recruiting boss kept saying to me, Greg, where are you getting all these people? And I told him about LinkedIn, and he said, well, I want you to train our whole office. And I trained the whole office, and then they sent me around to all the offices around the country training our recruiting teams on how to use LinkedIn. And that's how I got into LinkedIn training for recruiters. And my situation changed, though, a couple of years ago because of my role as a husband and family man. I became a trainer for job seekers. And that's because my wife was out of work for almost a year back in 2008 and 2009. And so I lived vicariously through her through unemployment, and I know what a lot of you are going through. I would see my wife have days where she just didn't even want to get out of bed. She would say things to me like, I'm not contributing to the household or to the economy because I'm not working. And it was very deflating. She wouldn't go to things like my daughter's soccer games or to church, things she loved to do. And the hardest part for me was my recruiting practice has continued to thrive through those years, and she would see me getting people back to work every week, and she would keep saying to me, honey, what about me over here? Could you please get your wife back to work? But I couldn't just snap my fingers and get her back to work. That's not how it works, and you guys know that. She worked in an industry that I didn't have any connections in, and it was an industry that was dying out, and she was trying to transition into a new industry, and it wasn't working. No one was even willing to give her a chance. So I had to come up with a way to help her get back to work, and I did. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. And it's a way that's worked for her. It's worked for many people, especially when you're transitioning. This will really help you. And the reason that I felt like I had to come up with this way of getting her back to work was I felt this fear of letting down my family. I didn't want to be the one that didn't come through for them. And that, when I finally got her back to work, that really set in for me that, that's the hardest and worst part for all of us that are out of work or in a situation where we need better work is this fear of letting down our family. Nobody really talks about that, but that's what really sunk in with me and made me want to help other people overcome that situation and help you, just like I helped my wife get her career back on track, get our lives back into a routine where she went to work from 8 to 5 and we came home and had dinner on a regular schedule. It was little things like that that you really miss when you're out of work. And certainly you don't have any fun and can't do things like take vacations when you're out of work. And this is what I want for you, is to help you get your career back on track and your life back into a routine so that you can do fun things and take vacations again. And that's what we're going to learn how to do today using LinkedIn. So in addition to learning to use LinkedIn, there's 3 other lessons that we learned along the way today that I feel are very important for me to fill you in on, and I think this will really help you as well. The first lesson I learned is the power of hope. And what this means is once you've lost hope in your job search, you need to realize that everyone can tell. Everyone can tell when you're deflated and feeling hopeless. I saw this with my wife. I've seen it with many other job seekers. And nobody wants to hire a desperate job seeker. In fact, nobody even wants to network with or help a desperate job seeker. So you've got to keep charging forward, and you've got to keep your hope levels strong. And that's really my number one goal today, is to empower you again, because you're going to learn some things today that other people don't know. And you're going to see how these things have worked for other people. So you're going to be out there doing some things that are going to give you an edge. And that should give you hope again. And it may be the actual LinkedIn things you learned today that help you, or it may be that just gets you fired up again. And that hope helps you get back to work. But come out of today, number 1, learning LinkedIn, but number 2, come out of today fired up again. The second thing that I learned that I feel you really need to learn and understand is that we all talk about having goals in our life and in our job search, but a goal needs to be something that you can 100% control. Part of my wife's problem with getting back to work was she had a goal to get a job, and then she set goals to get an interview, but those were not things that she could control. And no matter what she did, she was very depressing when at the end of the week she didn't get an interview and didn't get a job. She didn't make her goal. You need to set goals that are things that you can 100% control. And everything that you're going to learn today are things that you will have 100% control of. So these are the types of things that you want to set goals around doing. And the last lesson we learned along the way is that LinkedIn is not a silver bullet. Just being on LinkedIn alone is not going to get you back to work. And I think that's probably the situation that many of you are in. The reason why is LinkedIn is a tool. And with any tool, it's how you use that tool that brings about the results and gets you back to work. You've got to have some skills in terms of how you use a tool in order to make it work for you. And that's what today is about, giving you skills on LinkedIn. And again, this is where I think a lot of you are right now, is you're on LinkedIn and you're just wondering, what am I supposed to be doing on LinkedIn? By the way, let's just do a quick informal poll. If you're not on LinkedIn, go ahead and type "not" into the chat box. This will be anonymous. I'm just curious. We always get some people that are not on LinkedIn at all, but I think for the most part our audience are already on LinkedIn. So go ahead and type "not" into the chat box. We have probably 2 people that have inputted so far that they're brand new to LinkedIn. Everything you're going to learn today, are things that other people won't teach you, but they're things you can easily go do right now. Even if you're not a member of LinkedIn at all, you can set up a basic account and you can get started doing these things right away. So I really encourage you, if you're brand new to LinkedIn, we actually have probably 8 or 9 people now that have put in that they're not on LinkedIn at all. You can still do and everything you are learning today and get the benefits today. Don't hesitate to go get started. So once you're on LinkedIn, you're wondering now what? What am I supposed to be doing on LinkedIn? And this screen really is one of the most important mindsets that you should take away from today. It's a mindset on LinkedIn. You need a balanced attack in your job search on LinkedIn. There's 2 sides to your LinkedIn. There's things you do to find jobs, and there's things you do to be found. This screen doesn't actually exist on LinkedIn. There's nothing you need to check off here or anything. I'm showing you this to help you visualize this balanced approach that you need on LinkedIn, because most job seekers pour all their efforts into the to find side. And I'm not just talking about LinkedIn. I'm talking about in general. You go out hunting for jobs every day, and most people say, well, I'm just going to let the to be found side happen. I'm going to post my resume, and if people find me, great. But you don't actually do any strategies or do anything to improve your ability to be found. And you really need to, as you're going to learn today. So you need a balanced approach. And we're going to learn ways to improve our success on both sides and take our balance up even higher, take our skills up even higher on LinkedIn. So let's start with the to find side. The key to utilizing LinkedIn on the to find side is to utilize LinkedIn as a stepping stone to offline relationships. There is absolutely no replacement for face-to-face relationships. I'm the LinkedIn guy, and I'm going to tell you that more people get hired through offline networks, through just people hiring people they know, than LinkedIn or than any website, and all the websites combined. More people get hired through face-to-face relationships. So LinkedIn needs to be a way to accelerate your ability to build face-to-face relationships, because it's hard to get to know somebody in real life and in the real world. Now, I want to tell you a quick story here about my daughter that I think will help you illustrate some of the mistakes, or the biggest mistake that most job seekers make in their networking. So follow along here. There's a lesson in this, and it's just a quick, funny story. My daughter just finished the 4th grade. Now she started the 5th grade. And she's never been in trouble in school. She's a great little girl until about a month ago in last year's school year. She came home with this note from her teacher that said she was being written up for talking too much in class to the person behind her. Now, I should also mention that my daughter likes to stay home for the summer. She doesn't go to camp. I work from home, and she likes spending time with me even when I'm working, and so she would sit in on me doing many of these trainings last year and this year, and just kind of sit there and listen and smile. And I really never thought she was paying any attention until I asked her. I said, honey, what is going on with this talking to the person in class behind you? And you know what she said to me? She said, Daddy, I was networking. Now, I just had to almost fall out of my chair with laughter at that, because clearly that's not networking. And if you think that's funny, go ahead and put LOL into the chat box here. I mean, she must have absorbed some of this through osmosis, because obviously she doesn't know what networking is. She just thinks that she's networking. And, I started to really think about this. You know what? This is the same thing that a lot of job seekers do. We just talk to whoever happens to be behind us, or whoever happens to come along. Maybe it's somebody on LinkedIn, maybe it's somebody on Facebook, or at an offline networking event. We are talk to whoever's just there, like a 4th grader would. That's not networking. It's really not networking, and not going to get you hired unless you're spending your time talking to the right people. The people that can help you are the people that can hire you. Those are the people that you need to spend your time talking with. And one of the powerful functions of LinkedIn is that it can really help you find the right people and spend your time networking online and offline with the right people. That's how you want to use LinkedIn to find the right people to get hired. So to find the right people, you want to use the advanced search feature. I'm showing you where this is now. It's all the way to the far right on your LinkedIn screen. Stay with me here for this now, because I want to show you how to use this advanced search to find people. It's very simple. It's actually very complicated, advanced search. There's lots of options in there, but the way to use it is very simple. You just use these three fields here. Use the job title field. So for example, if you were looking for a job in marketing, you're going to type in VP of Marketing. Then you're going to put in some words, maybe around the industry or in your zip code here. That's what you want to put in to find people to network with, to find the right people. Now, I'm seeing probably 2 or 3 people that are putting into the chat box that they can't see my screen. We have 532 people here. Everyone else is seeing the screen okay. So that means there's a technical problem on your end somehow. So if you're not seeing the screen at any point in the presentation, just hop off the webinar and hop back on. It's just like you get a bad cell phone connection, or sometimes it even goes bad after a while. Things may not be working on your end. There's nothing that I can do from my end to improve your viewing experience. Or the same thing if your audio goes out. Again, there's nothing I can do from my end. Just hop back on and hop back off. It only seems to be affecting 3 or 4 people here. So we've learned how to use this advanced search. And many of you may have already been aware of advanced search, and I hope you've been using this. There's one big problem with this advanced search. Is when I run a search for, say, VP of Marketing in my zip code here, I get back 22,000 people, as you can see on the top right here. But there's no way to know which of these people are hiring. So we're still not exactly talking to the very best people. Yes, I mean, we're talking to the right people, the people who could be hiring, but we don't know which of them are exactly hiring. And so to find out which of them are hiring, LinkedIn's finally came up with a much more powerful way to search that I'm about to show you. It's about searching what people are talking about on LinkedIn, because people talk about hiring. And you do this by listening. And with LinkedIn's newest secret weapon called LinkedIn Signal, you're able to listen to what people are discussing on the internet and find exactly the right people you want. So this takes LinkedIn and our search and networking to a whole nother higher level. Even as you read these comments from Forbes here, this new way to filter and present information poses a challenge to Facebook, Twitter, Google, and Microsoft. It's that powerfully. So people talk online through status updates. Here's how you can do a status update on LinkedIn. You know, probably if you're on Facebook, you understand the concept of doing a status update. On Twitter, people do tweets. Throughout all these different sites, people talk. And you don't need to be on all these different sites, because with LinkedIn Signal, you are able to combine all these conversations on all these different sites and filter in just the conversations that you want. We can find just the people that are talking about hiring, just the people that are talking about hiring in your city and in your industry. That's exactly what we want. And we can filter out all the junk. You know, all the people that are talking about where they're going for lunch or other things that are not interested to us. So this is what LinkedIn Signal looks like. As you see down the center here, we've got all the discussions that are taking place in our network. And on the left-hand side here, we've got filters that allow us to filter in just the information that we want. Let's take a closer look at those filters, and I'm going to show you how to use them. You just check them off to use them. And this is some of the searches that everyone should set up. You should set up a filter for your industry. In this example, I've highlighted IT, and your city. Now what you're filtering in is what's everybody in my industry and in my city talking about. And you can put it in any city or any industry. If you're following what they're talking about, that's exactly your people. That's the perfect way to stay up to date with the latest trends. Let's take this to a higher level now, because we can also filter by keywords. So in this search, I've added the word hiring. So I've checked off human resources and the words hiring. And look at the top. There's 8,900 people talking about hiring that work in human resources. I don't know about you, but I hear from HR people all the time, Greg, it feels like there's no jobs out there. Well, it feels that way because you're not listening. There's 8,900 people out there talking about hiring. You just never had a tool to let you listen to them before. And look in the yellow here. 3 of these are from the last 30 minutes. These are fresh leads. And the beauty of this is you find the person who's doing the hiring and you go right to them. You contact them on LinkedIn. This isn't like go apply at my website and send your resume into the black hole. This is go right to the person who's talking about hiring and right at the minute that they're talking about hiring, right? Well, it's fresh on their minds. So that's what makes this so fast and so powerful. You can use LinkedIn Signal to follow anything that you're interested in. You can follow certain businesses if there's companies you're trying to break into. If you have an interview at a company, you can set up a filter to see what are all the people at this company talking about. What's important to them? Think how well you do in your interview if you have that kind of information from LinkedIn Signal. Here, I use LinkedIn Signal to follow what people are saying about my webinar training. This is when we did this back in April. This was some of the feedback that we got from people that were on the same training that you're on here. I'm going to show you how to get Signal in just a moment. Let's just look at some case studies about how other people are using Signal. The first is from Matthew. It says, I found 6 jobs to apply for within 5 minutes. Matthew works as a project manager. That's how fast Signal works for you. Next from Mary Ellen, it says, I got direct access to the hiring manager. He asked me to come in for an interview that day. That's because you get right to the hiring person on Signal. And lastly, the jobs I found on Signal, I was the only one interviewing for because they'd not yet posted them. So Signal works fast and powerful to get you results in your job search. Now, there's lots of ways to get to Signal. The easiest way to do it is to go to LinkedInLabs.com. This website is part of LinkedIn. It's where they put all their applications that are new and in beta. And you go there and you click on Signal and you install it and it'll be up and running for you. So that's the easiest way to get LinkedIn Signal. Again, it's free. It's at LinkedInLabs.com. Once you have Signal up and running, you'll be in the top 1% of job seekers. Almost no one's using Signal. There's really no one else that's even teaching about Signal. Now, there's one big catch with LinkedIn Signal. You need to understand this in order to get Signal to work for you. LinkedIn only works across 3 levels of your network. For those of you that are new on LinkedIn, this is a real important concept for you to understand. On LinkedIn, you get access to your connections, plus everyone who's in their network, plus everyone who's in their network. 3 levels of deep. And so with Signal, you're not able to search through all the conversations that are taking place on LinkedIn. You're only able to search through your network's conversations. Now, the typical job seeker, as we see here, has 77 LinkedIn connections. And that gives you access to 250,000 people. And that might sound like a lot of people, but 250,000 people is not a lot of people because LinkedIn has over 100 million members. So that's means that's less than 1%. 99% of the people on LinkedIn, you won't be able to see their conversations because you don't have them in your network. And that's why many people have gone and tried LinkedIn Signal, and you might be trying it right now and saying, well, I don't see any jobs here. How come Greg saw 8,900 jobs? Well, that's because I have a deep, rich network, and you need to have a deep, rich network to start to see Signal work and really to start to see everything on LinkedIn works. As you can see in this case study, or after we worked with this client and we grew their network out to over 500 connections, they then had access to 47 million people on LinkedIn. That's where you need to be. That's giving you access to almost half of the people on LinkedIn. One of the most important lessons you can take away from today is that having a deep, rich network on LinkedIn is like having gas in your sports car. LinkedIn is a sports car. It does lots of really cool things and has lots of neat features, but the car is not going to go anywhere unless you've got gas in it. And having a deep, rich network is like putting gas in your car. And LinkedIn really doesn't work for you until you have a deep, rich network. So on your LinkedIn homepage, it shows you how many connections you have, as you can see here from my screenshot. Once you get to 500, it doesn't show the exact number you have. That's because it's not a popularity contest. It's not about how many connections you have. That number is irrelevant. What matters is how many people are in your entire network at the 2nd and 3rd level. Let's just do a quick informal survey here. Those of you that are LinkedIn members, I want you to hop over to your LinkedIn And I want you to let me know, how many connections do you have? We'll do this as a poll, actually, and I'll share the results with you guys. And I want you to see, relative to your competition on LinkedIn, how many connections you have and how many connections they have. This is your competition is here. These are other job seekers. We have 559 people that are here today. So please partake in the poll. You don't need to put this into the chat box. Just partake in the poll, and I'll share these results with you. Remember, if you've got less than 500 connections, you probably don't have access to most of the people on LinkedIn. Okay, last call to vote here. I'm showing about 2/3 of our audience has voted. I'll go ahead and share these results with you, and then we'll analyze them together as well. If you're not on LinkedIn at all, you should be in the 0 to 50 box here. Okay, we're going to close this, and I'll share the results with you guys. And so here's what we're seeing. 39% of our audience has 0 to 50 LinkedIn connections, which is well below the average on LinkedIn. So you're really behind the eight ball, behind the curve here. LinkedIn's really not going to work for you, and that may be why you've been frustrated with LinkedIn. We have another 18% with 51 to 100, and then 20% with 101 to 250. So what that means is, if we add those first three numbers together, we have 39 plus 18, which is 57, and then 20, 77. So 3/4 of our audience have less than 250 connections and are getting less than optimal performance out of LinkedIn because you haven't really filled up your gas tank. We then have 14% that are on their way and doing a good job. You're in the 251 to 499 range. And then we have 9% of our audience that's over 500 plus. Now keep in mind, many of my clients are here today for a refresher in this training and probably make up that 9%. But what even with them included, what this should help you to understand is, once you hit 500 connections, you're now in the top 9% of everyone who's on LinkedIn. That's very, very powerful. That's where you want to be. Those are the people that are getting hired. And the reason why, just to recap, Signal won't work for you until you hit 500 connections. And when I say won't work for you, it means it'll run, but you really won't see any results. Advanced search won't work for you. Remember, we talked about using the advanced search? You're not going to see very many people. And when we get into being found on LinkedIn, this won't work for you either. No one can find you on LinkedIn. So really, the main things that you're supposed to be doing and happening on LinkedIn don't work for you until you build a deep, rich network. It's very frustrating on LinkedIn without a deep, rich network. So how can we grow our network? That should be the question at the top of everyone's mind right now. I'm going to show you the best way to grow your network fast. It's by adding super connectors to your network. Understand what a super connector is. I'm an example of a super connector. And what that means is, when you connect with me, all of my 17,000 connections become a part of your network instantly. And so does all of their connections. Over 4 million people you add to your network at the third level by adding me, one person, to your network. Really let this sink in. Understand how if you added 10 super connectors, in theory, you'd add 10 times 4 million people. It'd be growing your third level fast. It's not just about adding people that you think are perfect for you to your network. It's about adding people that are adding depth to your network so that everything works for you on LinkedIn. Even better than connecting with me, what I want to open up next is our top secret coaching files. These are things typically I only teach my coaching clients, but I want to teach you how to find super connectors right in your industry and right in your city. Because the person you really want is the person who knows everybody in town, everybody in your industry. So to do this, you go back to the advanced search features, and it's very simple. You type in keywords related to your industry. You type in your zip code. That's going to pull up, and you run the search. That's going to pull up a huge list of people. Here's the trick that most people don't know about. This is what will give you an advantage and help you find the super connectors. You need to sort the list by number of connections. See at the bottom here? You can change this to sort by connections. And what this will do is it'll rank the list in order with the people with the most connections at the top of the list. Those are the super connectors. They're the ones who know everybody. When you connect with one of them, you instantly get access to their whole Rolodex. So the ideal strategy for network building is to seed your network with at least 500 super connectors. This is going to give you exponential access to millions of people at the third level. Let's just do the math on this. Adding 500 super connectors who each have 1,000 unique connections times 500 unique connections would give you access to 50 million people. Now LinkedIn's really going to be working for you. That's where you want to be. You see, it doesn't quite work out where if you add 10 people like me, you get 10 times 4 million, because what happens is there's a lot of overlapping connections between the super connectors. This is why you need lots of super connectors to really blow out your growth. Ideally, you want to add 500 super connectors, and I'll show you how to do that coming up later on. But understand, it's not a popularity contest. The true power of LinkedIn lies in the exponential reach you can get anywhere else. You can't get anywhere else in the world but on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter how many connections you have. It's not a popularity contest. It matters how many people you have access to at the third level. Now, better yet, you ideally want to become the super connector. You want to become the most connected person in your industry and in your city. Because once you become a local super connector, your networking becomes so much easier because people are coming to you, connecting with you, wanting to get access to all of your connections. I don't have to spend any more time in my life networking ever again because I'm so well connected. Every day I have new people coming to me wanting to connect with me. You want to get to that point. Not necessarily the same point I'm at, but you want to become one of the most connected people in your city, in your industry. Now, to do that, very simply, you get to over 500 connections. Remember, 500 is a magic number because then LinkedIn doesn't show how many exactly you have. Also, to distinguish yourself as a super connector, there's two things you need to do. First, use the phrase LION, which stands for LinkedIn Open Networker. It's an acronym that says that you're open to connecting with people, even people you don't know, people that are in your industry. And also you want to tell people, I'm a super connector in this industry, in this city. Define yourself as a super connector, and you become one once you hit 500 connections. And your life will be so much easier as a job seeker when you don't have to network, when all the people are just coming to you. It saves you all of this time. So building a deep, rich network on LinkedIn helps you in so many ways. It helps you to be found. It helps you to expand your search. It helps you to become a super connector. And it gets LinkedIn Signal working for you. So why then do you hear from people, well, Greg, I don't know if I want to add super connectors to my network. I'm not comfortable adding people I don't know to my LinkedIn network. I have a trusted network. You do hear that from people. And when I do, this is my response. You know what? There's nothing wrong with you using LinkedIn in that way. It's your choice how you want to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a tool. And all I would say to you is look at your objective and use the tool, LinkedIn, in the best ways to meet your objective. If your objective is to get a job, or better yet, have the job start finding you, then you need to start utilizing LinkedIn as a tool in that direction, which means building a bigger, deeper network. But if you want to use LinkedIn for other purposes, that's fine. Now, when you build out your network with super connectors, you can actually flip a switch and turn off your account settings so that no one even sees you adding them. That way you're not bothering your existing network at all. And super connectors, they're not going to ask a lot of you. They're busy super connecting. So it's still very easy to maintain your network. It doesn't take a lot of work to add all these people to your network. And if you really want to organize your network and separate out, hey, these are the people I really know and work with, LinkedIn has tags for that now. Then you can tag these people are the people I'm adding for networking purposes. These are the super connectors. You can organize your connections if you really want to put in the time to do that and separate things. So with this in mind, from our audience that's here today, we have 575 people here today. How many of you would still be hesitant to add super connectors to your network? Go ahead and type not into the chat box if you're feeling like I still am skeptical or wouldn't feel safe adding super connectors to my network. We always get a few. And there's so many benefits that come from adding the super connectors, as I've shown you. But that doesn't mean we're not trying to convince everyone. You don't have to do it that way, because here's why. If everyone connected to everyone, then the whole system would break down. So we want to get an edge over the other people that aren't going to connect to everyone. And we get an edge because they're not doing it. So we don't want to convince them to do it. We want to let them have their small network. Personally, I use Facebook to stay in touch with my real friends and coworkers. LinkedIn is a place to get a job and to have jobs find you. If you want to use LinkedIn just to stay in touch with your coworkers, that's fine. So we have, I think, probably 7 or 8 people that said not out of our 575 people that are here. One person said contemplating. And so, I think most of us that are here have come around to seeing that we need to be building a deep, rich network. All right, so let's move on from the using LinkedIn to find a job. Let's next talk about using LinkedIn to have the jobs find us, because that's even easier and it's even better. The be found side of LinkedIn is what most of us are completely overlooking. And the be found jobs are the best jobs. It's an absolute last resort for a company to post a job. That costs money, and then they have to sort through all these resumes. Every company would much rather just hire someone that they know or someone that they can find in their network. So the be found jobs are the best jobs. There's a lot less competition for the jobs when the jobs are finding you. And the beauty of the be found strategies I'm about to teach you is once you do the work once, it pays off forever. You're done. And now jobs are finding you forever. It just takes a little bit of work up front. Also, if you're confidential in your job search, then being found are the best strategies you can use, because you can't do a lot of stuff actively on LinkedIn if you're worried about your boss looking at your LinkedIn. But you can improve your ability to be found, and you can get people with the jobs calling you. That's what being found is about. Let's just look at some case studies from clients of ours that have implemented the be found strategies that you're about to learn. The first from Razul says, for the first time, recruiters were calling me about jobs. This is how it should be. Next from Jane, in the previous month, I had 0 people contact me. Now 9 people contacted me in my first week. And lastly from Jonathan, an employee found me on LinkedIn and became an internal advocate for me at the company. You're going to see how that happens in just a moment here. So one of the things you need to learn about LinkedIn, one of the most important things you're going to learn today is that you need to track your results and success on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn shows you how many times your profile's been viewed and how many searches you've come up in every day. So let's take a look at this on your LinkedIn profile. I want you to go to your LinkedIn homepage and look up your numbers. On your LinkedIn homepage, you scroll down to the right, and you'll see that your statistics are there. Okay, I'm seeing quite a lot of questions coming in, guys. Please hold your questions until we get into the Q&A session at the top of the hour. In order for us to fit in all of your training today, we're not going to be able to take questions in the middle of the presentation. So take a look at your numbers here. This is really important statistics. And this is going to show you how long it's going to take you to get back to work. I'm going to open up a poll here, and I want you to share with me how many views per day your profile averages. So if yours says, I think Alan said he's getting 6 views in the last 30 days, do the math on that, divide that number, you'd have 0.5 per day that you're averaging. So you'd be in the 0 to 2 bracket. So do the math on this, average out your views per day, and go ahead and put that into the chat box here. It's on your LinkedIn homepage, Karen, and scroll down to the right. Underneath the banner ad is where you'll see your numbers. And go ahead and input this into the chat box here. How many views per day your profile is averaging. And let's first understand why this is so important. People search on LinkedIn for a reason. You don't search randomly on LinkedIn. People that are searching on LinkedIn are the people that are hiring. Wow, they're hiring. So these are the perfect people for you to get in front of, the people that are hiring. Because if they're hiring in your area, you want to come up in that search. But even if they're with a company that's hiring in other areas, you want them to find you. You want them to know about you. And so these are the perfect people that are hiring. Okay, last call to vote here. I'm showing about 2/3 of our audience has voted. I'm going to close this out and share these results with you, and we'll analyze these together. So 66% of our audience, 2/3, is getting 0 to 2 views per day. 23% is getting 3 to 5 views per day, which is pretty good on your own. 7% are getting 6 to 9, 3% are getting 10 to 15, 1% are getting 16 plus. Remember, I said some of my clients are here today. This is what I want you to understand. You can get 10 views per day from people that are hiring in your industry, in your city, once you implement these Be Found strategies. These numbers prove it. 4% of our audience here today is getting over 10 views per day. 1% is getting 15 views per day. That's how high you can get. That's where you want to be. Getting hired is a numbers game. You have to get in front of more of the people that are hiring. And so let's just look at the simple mathematics of this. Let's say you average 1 view per day. That means in 30 days, you're going to get viewed by 30 people that are hiring. Well, the statistics that I've seen with our clients are it takes about 300 views before you get a job offer. So how long is that going to take you if you're getting 30 views a month? It's going to take you 10 months to get back to work. Now let's look at someone who's getting 10 views a day. That means they're getting 300 views a month. That's why they're getting back to work in 1 to 2 months and getting multiple job offers. It's simple mathematics of being viewed by the people that are hiring. That's what condenses the amount of time it takes for you to get back to work from 10 months where you only have one offer and you're desperate and have to take it, down to 2 months where you'll have multiple offers. It's mathematics of being viewed by the people that are hiring. And so let's learn how to improve our ability to be found, how to get in front of the people that are hiring. You don't need to understand statistics here. You should just be able to follow along and understand the concept that the more people you can get in front of that are hiring, the better it's going to be for you. So in order to be found, you need to understand how recruiters search on LinkedIn and then very simply reverse engineer the process. And that's what I'm about to teach you. This is how well-trained recruiters search on LinkedIn. They go back into the advanced search screen. They put in the title of the type of person they're looking for. Then they come down here in the pink and put in the zip code. And then they start to put in keywords related to what they're looking for. Now, typically they don't just put in 3 keywords. What they'll typically put in is as many as 7 keywords. If you look to the top left here, I know you can only see 4 of them, but I've actually used 7 different keywords in this search. The reason why is as a well-trained recruiter, I don't want to get back a list of hundreds of people that I have to sort through. I don't have time for that. I want to get back a list of 3 people who match everything this job could possibly want. And if you look at the top right here, you'll see that's how many search results I got. 3 people. So if you're one of these 3 people, my job as a recruiter is to call you and recruit the heck out of you. Well-trained recruiters, their job's not to sort through resumes. It's to recruit people, to sell them. And so if you're one of these 3 people, your life as a job seeker is very different. You're getting a call from someone like me, someone who knows what they're doing and is saying, hey, you got to come check out this company. This company is great for these reasons. This will be a great move for your career. Come in, interview with us, meet with us. You're going to love it here. And the whole process runs like that. It's a complete leverage switch, dynamic switch when you're one of these 3 people. You want to be one of these 3 people on the short list. This is where that saying comes from. The way you get onto this list, or the reason you're not on this list and not having this experience at all right now, is you just didn't happen to have one of the words I searched for. You just didn't use that word for whatever reason. Let that sink in. Now, there's no magic words that you have to use, and the words in this example don't matter. I'm talking about words that are relevant to you and what you do. Your job is to anticipate all the different words that someone could possibly search for and to work those words into your profile so that you come up on these searches. If you're not getting any of these types of calls now where you're truly being recruited and hunted, it means you don't have enough words in your profile. You need more words related to what you do. So where are we going to come up with all these words? Well, the traditional way is to go look at job descriptions, analyze the job descriptions, and try to guess at what are some of the words you could put into your profile. What I've come up with is a much better way to do keyword research. It's using word cloud tools. With a word cloud tool, all you do is copy and paste the job description into the tool, and it creates this cloud of words where the biggest words are the most important ones. So this makes it fast and easy to do word cloud analysis. You just, whatever the biggest words are, you take out some of them and add them into your profile. And now you're not guessing at what the most important words are. So the word cloud tool that I recommend is free to use. You can get access to it at wordle.net. We're looking at that website right now. When you get there, you just click on this create button, wordle.net, not a .com website. Then you copy and paste in the job description that you want to analyze, and voila, it creates the analysis for you. So you need to do this. Analyze about 10 jobs with the word cloud tool. It should only take you 30 to 60 minutes. Make it a goal to pull out 3 new keywords from each of the word clouds, and now you've got 3 times 10, 30 new words that you're going to take and fit into your profiles. You can start by putting them into your interests, or you can work them into your job descriptions. That's how you're going to show up on those search results. Now that's step 1 in being found and in doing LinkedIn profile optimization. We're going to go through all 4 of these steps, but next you also want to get to the top of the search results. Let's understand what that means. And let's understand first that what I just showed you is how well-trained recruiters search. There are also other people searching for you on LinkedIn that are very valuable to find you. There are recruiters inside of companies. There are HR professionals. There are hiring managers that just go search LinkedIn. And there are employees. This is one of the best ones. Employees who want their company's referral bonus, they'll run a search. And if they like you, they'll refer you in. And you go to the top of that company's list because you're a referral. So these people all search differently on LinkedIn. What they do is put in the title of whatever they're looking for and the zip code, and that's it. And then they start scrolling through the search results. As you can see in the top right here, there's 22,000 search results. They start scrolling through these and they pick the best people and they recommend them. Well, if you're at the top of this list, you're going to get seen by a lot more people. That's what I'm going to show you how to get to. And here's another important concept for you to understand. They can't scroll through the whole list. LinkedIn only allows you to search through the top 100 search results with the free basic account, and that's all most people have. You have to pay and get the upgrade to search through more than 100 people. So what that means is what most hiring managers do, what most HR people do, what most employees do, is they run a search and they scroll through the top 100 and make notes on who they like, and then they refer or contact the top 2 or 3 people. So you've got to get yourself into the top 100 search results, or you're completely missing out on this group of people finding you and on those great job opportunities. You want 97% of recruiters don't have the paid account and can't find you. The HR professionals can't find you. Hiring managers, employees, none of them can find you unless you're in the top 100 search results because they don't have the paid account. They can't go beyond that. So this is just a reminder here. I just want to remind you that I'm going to analyze the entire paid account for you and show you how to get these features. I'm going to send you that email on Monday. Stay tuned for that. Also, please hold your questions until we get into the Q&A at the top of the hour. And remember, as a bonus, we're going to cover the 3 biggest mistakes everyone makes on LinkedIn at the end of our Q&A, which will probably be at the end of the next hour. But let's go next into how to get to the top of the search results. You want to be at the top of the 22,000, or at least in the top 100, because that's all they get to look at. So there's 3 steps to LinkedIn search optimization. This is what I do. I'm going to show you how we do it. The first is you need to develop a primary keyword phrase. What this means is we'd all love to show up at the top of the search results for lots of words, but if you try to do it search optimization for multiple words, it won't work. You need to have a keyword phrase. You need to then take those keywords and put them in the right places in your profile. And then you need to develop secondary keywords and put those into alternate strategic places in your profile. Let's take a closer look at this. The keyword strategy, since we're a little short on time here, what I'm going to do is during the Q&A, I'm going to take some of you as volunteers. You can tell me your keywords, the job title you're looking for, and I will help you build that into a keyword strategy so you can see exactly what we mean by this. Without the right keyword strategy, this won't work for you. But once you have your keyword strategy down, you then want to take those keywords and put them into strategic places on your profile. These are 5 of the most important places in your profile. When you put your keywords in these 5 places, it will help you rank higher. It should get many of you into the top 100. It may not work for more competitive phrases or higher level positions, but it will get you ranking higher. You need to do even more strategic placement to get to the top of the search results. But these are the 5 most important places, the most important of which is your current job title. You must, in your current job title, you have to have the words you want to show up for. Now this presents a problem. What if you're out of work and you don't have a current job title? Or what if you're looking for a position that's not your current job title? The solution? Well, you can have multiple current job titles. So how can we create a current position on our profile without confusing the reader of our profile? The solution is to set up your own group on LinkedIn. Creating your own group on LinkedIn is easy. I'm showing you a screenshot of how to do it here. And what you want to do is create a group and call it your city and your profession. In this example, we've called it the Tampa Bay Marketing Association. And then what you want to do is add a position to your LinkedIn profile that talks about you in your role running this group. So remember, this person's end goal is to show up higher in the search results for Vice President of Marketing. But that wasn't in their job title. They used to be a Director of Marketing. But now it's in their job title, their keywords, Vice President and Marketing are there. Now they're ranking for this. Now this client had also been out of work for almost a year and was not getting any calls because of this large gap in their employment. And after we created this group and this position on his profile, this really repositioned him as someone who's well connected and well known in his industry. It made a huge difference in how people saw him. Instead of seeing him as somebody who's out of work, they didn't wonder what he was doing anymore. So let's just take a look at some of the case studies here from people with their own group. And let's understand why this is one of the most important things you can do, especially if you've been out of work for a while. This is the #1 thing you can do, is create your own group. The first case study, I went from not getting any interviews to getting 3 calls in my first 2 weeks. Next says my group took on a life of its own with over 100 members joining in the first 10 days. And lastly, a company contacted me to ask if they could post a job in my group, and I got the job. Having your own group is one of the most powerful things, and if you're out of work, it's the #1 thing you can do because it gives you that keyword ranking higher. You don't have a current job, and because it repositions you as someone who hasn't been out of work. You know, we're not trying to trick people into thinking you have a job, but at least we can show them what you've been doing in the meantime. Creating your own group on LinkedIn is the #1 thing you can do. Okay, let's continue with how to be found. You also need to have a big network in order to be found. We kind of touched on this earlier. I just wanted to reiterate it. No matter if you do all the optimizations I've just shown you, if you do them perfectly, if you still don't have the big, rich network, if you still don't have the super connectors in your network, it's not going to work for you because people can only search through their network and 3 levels deep. They don't get to search through everyone that's on LinkedIn. You're going to have to work much harder if you don't have the super connectors in your profile. Now, it's not just about getting people to look at your profile. You also need what I call conversion strategies. If you really break down the formula for success on LinkedIn, You need to get lots of opportunities coming into your funnel. You need to get lots of exposure. You want to get all the people that are hiring viewing you, but not just viewing you. You want them to call you. You need to convert those views into phone calls. That's what I call conversion strategy. Now, I have a whole other training that I do on conversion strategies. There's a lot that goes into it. We could spend a whole other hour on this topic. I just want to give you some signs that your profile conversions might not be working for you. If you've never gotten a phone call directly from someone looking at your LinkedIn, then your conversions in your profile is not working well. My clients get calls every day that say, hey, we're looking at your LinkedIn profile and we'd like to talk to you. That's what you'll hear. Also, if you're one of those people that are getting 3+ profile views a day, if you're getting 3, 4, 5 profile views a day, 3 views a day is 90 views a month. That should be getting you lots of interviews if you're converting those views into interviews. And lastly, if you're not getting lots of people sending you invites, 10 inbound connections a week should be your goal. But that's part of your conversion strategy, getting them to connect with you. Because if they're connecting with you, then you're not having to do networking and spend time networking. It makes you more efficient with your time. So this is just an introduction into the conversion strategies that you should have in place. First of all, you need to develop a career brand. A brand shows how you're different and better than your competition. And so if people are looking at your profile and think, wow, you look just like everybody else, they're not calling you. That's what we mean. You're not converting those views into calls and into interviews. You must have a call to action in your profile. This is the #1 secret to conversions. A call to action, here's an example of one. It says, call me now to get benefit 1 and 2. If you ask any marketing person, any copywriter, how important is the call to action to your online advertisement, they'll tell you it's the most important part. They'll tell you don't bother running an ad if you're not going to have a call to action in it. Well, the same concept applies to your LinkedIn profile. Don't bother trying to get people to look at your profile if you don't have a call to action that tells them what to do next. Also, you want to make your viewers feel safe and welcome to connect with you. So those are some conversion strategies. Where else can I be found? I want you to understand that just as many recruiters are searching for you on Google as are searching for you on LinkedIn, as you can see from this survey here. And so if it's about getting your number of views to go up, you also want your views to go up on Google as well as on LinkedIn. Now, we're not talking about people searching Google for your name, because companies and recruiters, they don't know your name yet. All they know is what they're looking for. And that's what they set out to search for. There's just as many recruiters running a search like this for a VP of marketing on Google as there are on LinkedIn. You want to be found on Google. Google is a gold mine for recruiters, and you want to be at the top of the search results on Google for your job title in your city. Here's what clients of mine are saying about being found on Google, and I'm going to show you how we do this so you could do it yourself. The first says the recruiter found me on Google and told me I was the only candidate he had so far. Next, when the recruiter found me on Google, it seemed like she was selling me on the job instead of me having to sell her. And lastly, 1 hour after I got the notification my resume was on page 1 of Google, I got a call from a recruiter. That's how fast and powerful Google works for you. Now, to get to the top of Google, that's what search engine optimization is about. You've probably heard of SEO. It's a pretty hot buzzword in marketing and in business. Companies spend thousands of dollars doing lots of things to get themselves to the top of Google. Through my years of doing this, I found a much shorter, better way for job seekers to get to the top of Google. I'm going to show you what it is. There's 3 steps. Step 1 is you need to load your resume in MS Word onto an existing web page. You can't go set up a new web page and think that it's going to index into the top of Google. It won't happen. But the trick here is recruiters are searching for resumes. They're not searching for web pages. Resumes are usually in MS Word. That's what recruiters are trained to search for. Step 2, you need to optimize the HTML on your web page for your keywords. So put your keywords in 3 places. It's the title tags in the code, the meta tags, and the heading tags. Just copy and paste your keyword into those 3 places in the code. It doesn't matter what words are in the resume. It matters that you put the words in the tags on the web page. And step 3, you need to get lots of people linking back to your website. Google, that's how Google decides who's going to be at the top of the search results. If lots of people are linking to you, you must be important. We're going to show you higher. If nobody's linking to you, we're going to put you at the end of the list because you must not be that important. You want to use natural white hat techniques to build your links. You don't just want to go buy a bunch of links. That's called black hat. That's what the bad guys and black hats do. The natural way to build links is just go leave comments on blogs and you can link back to your website. It might take you 75 to 100 links to get onto page 1 of Google, but it's not that hard. It's just work in doing 75 to 100 comments and building the links. Let's talk next real quick about Twitter. And the first thing is you do not need a Twitter account. As a job seeker, I do not recommend you get a Twitter account. I hope that's a relief for you. If you are relieved to hear that you don't need to be on Twitter and don't need to be tweeting, go ahead and type yes into the chat box here. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about Twitter. I like Twitter for business. I use Twitter for business, but you don't need to have a Twitter account to succeed in your job search. So I hope that's a relief for you. Now, that being said, you can get really, really good job leads from Twitter. Don't underestimate the power of Twitter. And the reason I don't recommend Twitter is that there's no proven ROI for it. I've seen it work for some people, but I've seen it not work for a lot of other people, and it takes a lot of time to be tweeting all the time. Everything that I teach has proven ROI. It's proven to work on Google. Google for recruiters has been around for 10 years. LinkedIn has been around since 2005 for recruiters. These things are much more proven to work than Twitter. And your time should be spent working on what works best, not trying to do everything. So you can get really good job leads from Twitter, though. Let me show you how to do this and why these leads are so good. First of all, to get the job leads, you go to search.twitter.com. Write that website down. It's a part of Twitter. It allows you to search Twitter. You don't have to be a member of Twitter to use this. Anyone can use this. And what you want to do there is you want to type in keywords related to the type of job you're looking for, and you'll search through all the tweets, and you'll find some. Here, as you can see, there's lots of, again, human resources jobs here. If you see one that maybe sounds interesting, you click on the link in yellow, and you go apply for the job at the company's website. You don't have to tweet these people back. Here's why these leads are so good. What every smart company is thinking these days is, let's tweet out our jobs before we spend money to go post them. Because maybe we'll get somebody from Twitter. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But let's try it for a week or so first, because it's free and it's fast and it's kind of trendy. So that means if you're finding these job leads on Twitter, you're finding them before they get to the job boards and before your competition. And you have a huge advantage by getting in first. That's why you want these job leads. Now, what makes this kind of a hassle is you have to check this search.twitter.com every day, because they only save these leads for about 36 hours, and then they're gone because there's too many tweets every day. So rather than having you go back and check this every day, what I found is a software tool. It's a free tool, and it will automatically run the searches for you. The tool's called Social Oomph, O-O-M-P-H. This is what it looks like. It's a little bit complicated, as you can see, but where you want to go is under keyword tracking here, and you want to type in your keywords. Remember, your keywords are your #1 desired job title. And what this tool will do is run a search every time there's a tweet mentioning your words. It sends you an email. So it does all the searching for you. It completely automates the process and sends you those leads right from Twitter. Now, you also want to show up in the Twitter search, because there are companies and recruiters that are more trendy that like to search Twitter. And here you can see we've tweeted you out, our client out there at the top of the search results on Twitter. You can have your friends tweet you out to find you here on Twitter. Let's just recap everything that we've covered here today and put it into an action plan for you, because I know that that's what a lot of you are needing right now. You may be feeling overwhelmed with everything we've covered here. And so let's kind of recap and reorganize things. I'm going to give you what you should do coming out of today's training and in what order. So step 1 is you should develop your keyword strategy. This has 2 parts to it. First of all, you need to come up with that list of 30 or so new keywords. Do your keyword research using the word cloud tools. Then second of all, you want to build a keyword phrase that's going to be your primary keyword that you're going to use in your LinkedIn optimization and in your Google optimizations. And where I'm going to do some examples of building a keyword phrase in just a little bit here, because there's a lot that goes into that. We'll do that during the Q&A. Then once you've got your primary keyword phrase, you need to start putting it in strategic places in your profile. This is how you're going to show up higher in the search results and get more people calling you. Next, you need to create your own group on LinkedIn and then create your own position talking about you in that group. That's the number one thing you can do if you've been out of work, because it helps reposition you. As you're doing steps 1 through 3, you should be working at building out your network. Just set aside the time to do it. Your network is a lifetime asset. And once you become a super connector, you won't have to work on it anymore. Put in the time to do it. Get to 500 connections. Set aside 2 to 3 hours a day for the next 7 to 10 days and build up your network with lots of super connectors, and you'll be done with that phase of your network building for the rest of your life. LinkedIn will be working so much better for you. Next, go install LinkedIn Signal. Run a search for the words hiring in your industry and your city. That's the fastest way you can get job leads. The only reason that's not the first thing you should do is it won't work for you until you've built out a deep, rich network. So that's phase 1. Phase 2, you want to start implementing a conversion strategy. If you want to get more people calling you, you need more calls to action in your profile. You should also be developing your career brand. You should be making it a goal to become a super connector so that your networking is more efficient. And you want to be found on Google at the top of the search results for your keywords on Google, and you want to get those leads from Twitter. So this is your checklist of what to do next. Now, as we go into the Q&A, I also want to ask for your feedback. This is the feedback that I typically get. Is, Greg, this has been an awesome training, but it just sounds like a lot of work to do. There's no way I can do all this stuff. Is there any way you could make this easier for me? And I don't know about you, but this is where my notes go to die a lot of times when I go to a seminar or a webinar like this. You know, getting all the notes on everything you need to do isn't going to get you hired. You don't get any results or get hired until you implement everything that we've learned here today. And so where you've asked for my help is to bridge the gap between information and implementation to help you get this all up and running. So we have a follow-up training series designed to make this easier for you. It's not teaching you anything new. I've taught you everything that works best today on LinkedIn. This is about making it easier. This is about getting into the profile conversions and getting more out of your exposure. It's about getting lots of views. That's how you're going to shorten the time that it takes you to get back to work. So our training program is typically sold as a 3-volume set, but you already got volume 1 here today, and you're not going to need to pay this for these other sessions here today. The other feedback that I've been getting in the chat box is, Greg, I still don't know if I can do this all. It's just too much work. I don't know if I'll have time to do it all, and I really just want it done right. I'm not sure if I can do it all. Is there any way, Greg, that you could just do it all for us? I mean, clearly, Greg, you know what you're doing based on today's training. Clearly, you've helped lots of other people, as we've seen in the case studies today. Can you do it all for me? Well, we can. That's what our Be Found Fast program is about. Now, to enroll in Be Found Fast, you go to befoundjobs.com/special. Just click the link that's appearing right now. Click the link that's showing up on your screen right now to go to befoundjobs.com/special. And we have some very special bonuses I want to go through for you next when you use coupon code webinar. So this is a complete done-for-you program. Let's go through everything that we're doing. First, we're going to help you build a custom keyword strategy specific to you and your needs that's best suited for you. Then we're going to take those keywords in step 2, put them in all the right places in your profile. Not just the places I showed you today, but all the right places that's going to get you ranking as high as possible, definitely into the top 100. Then we're going to create your group for you on LinkedIn. This is going to help you to stand out from the crowd. Next, we'll build out your network for you. We have partnered with over 500 super connectors. and they've agreed to accept network invitations from all of our clients. This part of the program alone saves you probably 20 hours of work of going out and hunting and pecking and finding super connectors and hoping that they're going to accept your invitation. Once your network is built out by us, everything else will be up and running on LinkedIn so much faster and so much better for you right away. Then we install LinkedIn Signal for you. We make sure that's set up and done right for you. We show you how to get back into it so you can get those leads from Signal immediately. Next, we implement a conversion strategy for you. You don't want to have to learn about calls to action. Me and my team are trained in copywriting and have tested what works best on LinkedIn. Let us just do it for you. Let us help you build your LinkedIn brand, position you as a super connector so that people are coming to you, wanting to connect with you every day. And we do your Google SEO for you. We guarantee to get you to the top of Google for your keywords. And we set up that Twitter automation for you, your social software, and we tweet out about you so you can be found on Twitter. We do it all for you so that you can be found on LinkedIn, Google, and Twitter, so that you get your phone ringing. You get it all done right. In 1 week's time, we'll be done with all of this. Rather than you trying to do it on your own and having it take you weeks to get it done and having that cost you weeks being out of work, we get it all done right and done fast. And done once, you benefit forever. If you want proof that Be Found Fast works, there are over 300 people singing our praises on our blog. What our clients love is you get tangible and visual results. You can see your number of searches and views going up. You can see the people we're adding to your network. You can see yourself on page 1 of Google. You can tell that we did everything we said we were going to do and that it's working for you. We were featured in the Wall Street Journal Career Marketplace, and we've been on NBC's daytime TV show. I get emails like this one from Yuli Porton all the time. It says, following your program, it worked perfectly. The same afternoon, I replied to a job posting on LinkedIn Signal. After a lengthy application process, I actually got the job. I'll be starting this week. Thanks for making it happen. You made all the difference and led to my success. I think Yuli surprised himself because he says, I actually got the job. I think he was thinking, I'm not sure if this will work for me, but I'll try it. And he surprised himself when he says, I actually got the job. Now, these statistics are right from LinkedIn. This is not from me. This is LinkedIn statistics. It says 1,296 of my connections have landed new jobs in 2011. And I haven't updated this since the beginning of August. I'm sure it's even more. This says 4,235 of my connections landed new jobs last year. So your odds are pretty good when you're connected with me. They're 1 out of 3. When you're working with me, they're even better, 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 1 that you're going to get back to work. So you've got 2 choices here today. You've got our do-it-yourself LinkedIn training videos, or you've got our entire done-for-you program. Again, just click the link that's appearing on your screen right now to go to befoundjobs.com/special and enroll yourself. They're both over at befoundjobs.com/special. Now, I mentioned earlier that we have sponsors today, and our sponsors have actually agreed to subsidize the Done For You program. They are kicking in the difference to give you the Done For You program today only for only $494. That's a savings of $200. Now, to get this special bonus, you need to use the coupon code WEBINAR. You're basically getting everything done for you for almost the same price of what our training program is. Now, we're not going to be able to help everyone with the Done For You program. It takes a lot of time on our end to do all of this for you, but we're saving you all of that time. It's all done manually and personally. There's no automation in any of this. So it takes a lot of our time. So we're very limited. We can only work with 40 clients at once. So you need to act right now. You need to go right now to befoundjobs.com/special, because going into today, there were only 31 spots available. We have over 555 people that are still here with us. So we're not going to be able to help everyone who's here today. You also need to act right now, because every week you're out of work, it's costing you thousands of dollars. If we can help you get back to work just 2 or 3 weeks faster, that's putting that money right back into your pocket. Also, you need to act now, because not everyone can be on page 1 of Google. Google only has 10 spots on page 1 for each job title and city. And once we get to 5, we close that out. And we won't be doing Google SEO work anymore because we're not going to bump our previous clients for new clients. You'll be completely locked out of page 1 of Google by your competition unless you act now and claim your spot on Google and have us do this for you. Your opportunity to be found is before you here today. I see several people that are here on this training that were here last time we did this about 4 to 6 weeks ago. And while I welcome you to come back again, that really means that you've been out of work for another 6 weeks now. That's not what you want. You want to be back to work for your family and for your career. You don't want that gap on your resume to keep widening. You don't want to have it take forever because you're trying to do this yourself and save $1. It makes sense to just invest now and do it. But that opportunity is washing away. Those 31 spots are going to be sold out soon before we're done here today, I'm sure. When you get to befoundjobs.com/special, you need to click on this Act Now button. That's how you claim your spot. That's what starts the enrollment process and the checkout process. Click on the Act Now button. Now, that's not all. I'm actually going to match the sponsors who are subsidizing the program, and I'm going to include another bonus training for you. This is taking place tomorrow. This is another webinar workshop just like today, only it's focused on career branding. You need a brand to show how you're different and better than your competition. If you keep applying for jobs and no one's calling you, it's because you look the same as everyone else. The brand will help you stand out from the crowd. Now, you can spend weeks and months researching branding and working on branding, or you can get it all done tomorrow. It'll be done. You'll have it up and running. So in tomorrow's branding workshop, we're going to go through exercises on how to build your brand. It'll be fill in the blank. It'll be complete this sentence with something about you. Take this sentence, go put it in this spot in your profile. Your brand will be up and running in this workshop tomorrow. And once you're done with it, I'll critique it for you to make sure you did it right and to fix any little things to make sure it's perfect and really helping you stand out from the crowd. If you can't make it tomorrow, I realize it's short notice. I'll be recording this. You can catch the recording next week, or you can come back to this again the next time we do it. We do this workshop about every 2 weeks. It's normally sold separately for $147. I'm including it today only for those of you that enroll today. But one of the last things I want to share with you before we get into the Q&A is our survey we did earlier this year from our clients. This is actually people that attended the training but did not purchase the Done For You program. And we asked them, what was it about the Done For You program that wasn't right for you? And certainly a lot of people told us, look, we just can't afford it. And I recognize that. I recognize every dollar matters when you're out of work. That's why I strive to put so much into this to make it worth your time. And our price is what it is because it takes a lot of work for me and my team. I have to have a lot of staff to do all this for you. But we strive to give you 10 times the value of what you're investing here. And I know we have to because I know every dollar matters when you're out of work. But also in the survey, there were 3 other reasons people told us that they had some concerns about maybe moving forward with our program. And I really listened to what you guys say. And I want to address these 3 points. And if you're feeling any one of these 3 points, go ahead and input them into the chat box, please. The first one was, Greg, I don't want you to just go in and do my LinkedIn for me. I want to learn how to do it. The second one was, Greg, my reputation on LinkedIn and in my profession is very important to me. And I'm not 100% safe with or secure with the idea of you going in there and messing around with my LinkedIn profile. I can't risk something going wrong. It's not worth the upside. And the last one was, Greg, I really just don't know you that well yet. For me to give you my LinkedIn password at this point, that's a big leap of faith. I know we've spent an hour together. So I listened to that feedback. And what I've built is an upgrade to our program that addresses those concerns. And this is what I do. I listen to what you guys want, and I build into our program what you need and what you want. So with this upgrade, you get to be there live with us as we do your LinkedIn profile. Instead of just giving it to us and we go in and do it, now you're there live with us on a one-on-one webinar watching as we do it. So it addresses all of these concerns because now you're learning as we do it Any questions you have, you can ask. Now it's a collaborative experience, which makes it even better because you're making suggestions as we do it. It's really customized to you. Also, now you maintain total control of the process because you're there to sign off on each step of the way. If you have any questions or doubts about any steps, we'll talk about it. If you don't want us to do one of the steps, we'll skip it. You're there in control of the whole process with us as we do it. And this way you never have to disclose your password. You type in your password, and then we go and start doing all the work. So it's still completely done for you, but you're there watching us as we do it. Now, certainly there's extra coaching costs for me to have people available to do this with you one-on-one, and there's extra system costs. But I'm going to include this upgrade today only at no extra charge as well. If you wait and buy this program later on down the road, not only will you pay full price for it, but you will not get this upgrade without paying for it because it does have a lot of hard fixed labor costs for me to do this for you. But I want to match the generosity of our sponsors today. The last thing I almost forgot, everyone who enrolls before 1 p.m. Eastern today will also get to come to my weekly group coaching call for up to 6 months. Now, you're probably not going to need all 6 months. That's why I can offer you this, because I'm pretty confident you're going to get back to work in the next 1 to 2 months with our Done For You program. But what this is every week you and I get together via a live group coaching webinar. You can ask any questions about anything on LinkedIn, anything you need help with, anything that is new on LinkedIn I'm going to tell you about. I give you feedback on different things you're doing. I critique your profiles, and I get you fired up again every week, just like I hope you're fired up here today. So that's included every week for up to 6 months. That's normally $97 a month. Others are paying to be in that program. So to recap everything that's included today, that you get everything for $494 today only. You get our entire Done For You program. That's a $200 savings thanks to our sponsors for subsidizing that program. You get our training tutorials. I'll include the videos on the advanced conversion strategies. You get the career branding workshop taking place tomorrow. You get the one-on-one upgrade, and you get up to 6 months of coaching. You get everything included today when you click the link that's on your screen and go now to bfoundjobs.com/special. Be sure to use coupon code webinar. All today for $494. Be sure to use coupon code webinar to get the special pricing when you go now to bfoundjobs.com/special. When you get there, click on the Act Now button to enroll yourself. With a balanced approach on LinkedIn, you get hired. We're doing everything on the Be Found side. That's the side you've been completely neglecting. That's why your job search has been taking so long. When you're getting 300 views a month instead of 30 views a month, that's the difference between your job search taking 10 months and taking 1 to 2 months. Okay, so those of you that want to enroll need to go right now to bfoundjobs.com/special. Use coupon code webinar. What we're going to do next is go into the Q&A. Now is the time to please input your questions. Any questions you have about our program, we will address, as well as any questions about LinkedIn. And I'm also, remember to stick around for the bonus on the 3 biggest mistakes most people make on LinkedIn. I'm going to cover that at the very end. Also, I'm going to do some keyword consulting with those of you that have just joined us here today, and you'll learn a lot from hearing how we do that. And I'm also going to have the giveaway at the very end. So stick with us. We're going to go right probably till the top of the next hour here as I'm seeing lots of questions coming in. And what I'm going to actually ask you to do is please pause from inputting any more questions right now. I've got about 14 or 15 questions here. Let me knock these out for you, and then I'll come back and reopen the chat box. And what happens is if people keep inputting questions, the chat box keeps scrolling here, and it's very hard for me to keep up with all the questions. So please do not input any more questions at this point. If you do, I will read off your name and embarrass you. I don't want to have to do that, Lori. But okay, so let's go through some of the questions here. This first question is from Raphael, I think it says, or Raphael. I'm in Canada and work in manufacturing. Will your super connector list and your Be Found strategies work for me? Okay, here's the thing with the super connectors, Raphael, and for everyone, it's not about who they are. It doesn't matter where they live or what industries they're in. It's about the millions of people that are in their network. That's what's going to help you get so much out of the super connectors. Our strategies work no matter where in the world you're located or no matter what profession or industry you're in, because they're driven by keywords and they're driven by super connectors. So as I'm talking here and answering these questions, by the way, I just want to share with you some success stories we had from 1 week in the end of August. Again, I haven't updated the presentation since then, but I'll just share with you a few of these success stories. Okay, the next question is from Susan. It says, I'm going to try to paraphrase this here because it's asking about her resume and us writing your profile. She says, I guess her resume is not ready yet. Is she ready for our program? Okay, our program, Susan, is based on keyword optimizations. It's designed to get you exposure. It doesn't have anything to do with your resume. We don't need your resume for what we do. We don't use your resume at all. We don't touch your resume. We don't write your resume. And we're not a writing service. We don't rewrite all the words in your profile. We help you get your profile showing up more in searches and views. And we do that through keyword optimization. And you'll be better able to understand that when I talk about and give you some examples of keyword strategy. And we also help you get more conversions, get more calls out of the profile that you get. And but we don't rewrite your profile in any way. We don't touch the bulk of the content that's in your profile. We don't need to. Okay, I'm seeing quite a few people asking, will this work for me? And I do encourage those types of questions. If you're wondering, this is my situation. Will this work for me, Greg? I'm not afraid to tell you this won't work for you because we can only take 31 clients today. And so I want people in the program that this is going to work for. And so I'm not afraid to tell you, look, if you're a high school teacher, if you're an attorney, those are some niches that are not as developed on LinkedIn. And yes, this will help you, but not help you as much as in some other cases it will help you. Corporate especially, it'll help you a lot. I think I have a slide coming up that'll show you which industries LinkedIn works best for and which won't. I'll try to get to that in just a moment for those of you that are asking those types of questions, and I'll also try to address those individual questions. Please hold right now, by the way, from inputting any more questions. I want to jump to a question here that we always get. This one's from Jameson. It says, Greg, can you guarantee me I'll get a job? And the answer, Jameson, is absolutely not. I'm a straight shooter with you guys, as I hope you can see by now. There's no way that me or anyone can guarantee you a job. I can't even guarantee any specific interviews or anything. I can't make people call you. Remember when we go back to our goals, today is about doing things that you can control. We can't control getting a job, but we can do things to influence that. And that's what I do guarantee to do for you. We guarantee to get you in the right places to be found. We guarantee to get you to the top of Google, to get you showing up higher on LinkedIn, to get your searches and views going up. I don't know exactly what they'll go up to, but they'll go up as high as they possibly can go. We guarantee to build out your network so that you'll have over 500 super connectors. We guarantee to set up your group for you and to send you the leads from Twitter. We absolutely 100% guarantee and stand behind our service and that you'll be satisfied with our service, but I can't guarantee you any specific results. No one can. If somebody said, pay me this and I guarantee you'll get a job in 6 months or I'll give you your money back, that's I would not take an offer like that from them because there's no way they can assure you of that. Okay, so here we are to the slide that should help you decide if you're right for our program or not. The categories on the left here are the types of people that Be Found Fast works fast and consistently almost every time for. On the right-hand side here are the groups that our program does not work as well with for. So let's go through this a little bit together. Again, please refrain from inputting any more questions. Jerry just input a really long question that I'm not going to be able to answer because I've asked you to please hold your questions for now. So our program works best when you mainly need to get in front of the right people. If that's your situation, if you're know that you're good at what you do and people like you, you just need to get it back to work faster. and you say to me, Greg, if you can get me in the door, I'll do the rest. That's exactly what our program does for you. You're the perfect fit for our program if that's your situation. If you're any one of these three situations, you're the perfect fit for our program. The second category on here is if you're seeking corporate positions or upper-level positions in other industries. So for corporate, there is so much search volume on LinkedIn. There's so many people searching and hiring from LinkedIn. There's not that many people advertising jobs. They don't want to pay for jobs. They're all searching on LinkedIn. Whether you're looking for entry level, whether you're looking for executive assistant, on up to individual contributor, manager, vice president, even C-level, there's so much search volume on LinkedIn that you're stacking the deck in your favor. And even if you're not so confident in your interviewing skills, then you really just need lots of volume of opportunities coming into your funnel. And with corporate, that will work. With non-corporate, LinkedIn works best with manager, director, VP, C-level. It will still work with individual contributor positions in non-corporate, but not as well. Again, I'm honest with you guys about that. The last category would be if you're confidential in your job search, you really need the Be Found strategies. There's no other way for you to get back to work or for you to find a new job, because if you're currently working and you can't do a lot of things that could compromise your situation, you really don't even want to be out there applying for jobs, because that could accidentally they could call a company to check on you or something. It could really get screwed up and hurt your current situation. But if you're being found, the companies are calling you. So you're in the safest position you could be in. No one can tell by looking at your LinkedIn profile. And it takes the least amount of your time because the companies are finding you and calling you. So if you're any one of those three, you're the ideal fit for our program. Our program is not a good fit for you if you don't know what kind of job you want. Basically, you have to be able to tell me, Greg, when they search for this title or these titles in this city or state, that's the search I want to show up in. That's what we do for you. If you can't tell me that, I can't help you. The second category would be if you're really looking to promote a website. That's not what this program is designed to do. Now, I've helped lots of people that are looking for consulting work. And it doesn't matter if you have a website or not, but this isn't a program that's designed to drive traffic to your website. This is very heavily customized towards helping people get back to work, especially in people in senior level positions, corporate positions. It's designed to help you get hired, and we don't change from that if you're really just looking to drive traffic to your website. There's better programs out there, I'm honest. LinkedIn's great for that, but there's better programs out there for that. If that's what you're interested in, let me know. I'll tell you. Also, if English is not spoken in your region at all, then we can't help you. Now, I've helped people in many parts of Asia, in many parts of Europe, South America, where English is just one of the secondary languages, and they've still gotten great results. I've helped people from all around the world, lots from Australia, from the UK, from Canada, and certainly here in the US. But we only do our optimizations in English. Now, on LinkedIn, it's easy because we can do the optimizations in English, and LinkedIn will translate them for you. But on Google, the SEO doesn't translate at all into other languages. So you would miss out on the Google part if English is not part of your languages at all. And that, again, I'm upfront with you guys about that. So I realize there are people that may fall in the middle. And that may be a question that you want to ask is, this is my situation, Greg. Do you think this would work well for me? And if that is your situation, I'd like you to go ahead and input that into the chat box right now, and I'll try to address some of those questions. Let me know, this is my situation. Obviously, if you fall into one of these categories, then there's no reason for you to, for you to need to ask. You should be able to make the decision on your own. But if you need my advice about whether or not you're a good fit for this program, let me know, and I'm not afraid to tell you that you're not a good fit. And by the same token, if you're not a good fit, I'm not afraid to give you your money back. If you Google Be Found Jobs or Greg Wells, either one of us, you will see there is not anything bad out there anywhere in the world about us. And that's because I really pride myself on helping people. And if I can't help you, I'll give you your money back. Again, I can't guarantee you results. It's not fair for you to come to me and say, Greg, hey, I haven't gotten a job in a month. And that does happen for some people. And I can't promise you a job, but if you Google us, you'll see that there's not one complaint about us anywhere. And we've been doing this for 3 years now. We work with 200 clients a month. So to have that many people that we've helped, and not have any single complaints anywhere out there, that's really unheard of. And we stand behind that, and you can stand behind that. You can act in complete trust and faith today, that we'll do everything we can to help you, and that these things will help you as they've helped other people. So what I want to do next is I want to read off the names of those of you that have joined us today. And as I read off your name, I want to welcome and congratulate you on taking this step forward. What I want you to do is input into the chat box your #1 desired job title. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you with developing your keyword strategy right here live on the call today. Now, this is just the people as I read your name. Some people are already inputting their info. Only the people that I input your name. Others should not be inputting their info right now. I haven't read any names yet. But as I read your name and welcome you to the program, only those of you where I read your name, please input your #1 desired job title into the chat box, and you'll get to be our examples today as I work on developing a keyword strategy for you. And everyone else will learn from listening to how I work with these clients. You'll learn how to develop your keyword strategy. Also, by the way, be sure to stick around for those 3 biggest mistakes that everyone makes on LinkedIn, and then the bonus giveaway. That's going to be coming up in just a few minutes as well. But I want to welcome to our program Betty Blemato. Hope I said that right, Betty. If not, I get my name spelled wrong all the time, so don't worry. Please, Betty, input your #1 desired job title. Again, others should not be inputting anything at this point. Only Betty's name I've read. Next is Anthony Zerley. Welcome to the program, Anthony. Please go ahead and input your #1 desired job title. Next is David Hloss, Jim Damon, Julia Stevens, Sharon Bauer, Richard Sanford, Mark Walters, Carol Clark, Marianne Combo, Bart Gibbons. Congratulations to each of you. Next is Teresa Messina, Yulia Scorina, Jennifer Cottingham, Marsh Block, Art Fernandez, Alexander Leniski, Scott Rose, Deborah Brand, Sherry Baudet. And that is the end of page 1. There were 20 spots on page 1. Let me go to page 2 here, which would be the people that signed up right in the very beginning here. There may be a few more on page 2. We've got Jeff Beeman, Susan Fisher, and George DuPont. Congratulations to the 3 of you. We're the first 3 people to act today and sign up right away. So those of you where I've read your name, please input your #1 desired job title into the chat box. There were 23 people whose names I've read off, and so that means there are 8 spots left in the program here. So if you're thinking about doing this, now is definitely the time to act. So I want to work with the keyword titles that you put in here. I'm going to put up, let's go back to that slide in the presentation that'll help you understand what I'm going to be working with you here. So what we want to do is determine your primary keyword phrase. It should be your #1 desired job title. And what we want to do is take that title and what's called long tail the title into a 4-word phrase. So instead of just VP marketing as an example, we'd want to do VP marketing software branding. When you have a 4-word phrase, it allows you to rank on LinkedIn for any combination of the 4 words. So you're multiplying your ability to show up. But if you go over 4 words, the results start to dilute each other and you won't rank at all. We found that through our testing. A 4-word phrase is the magic number to success with your keywords on LinkedIn. So let's go through some of this, some of our examples here. So John, for example, John Bauer, again, welcome John, is a controller, which is a pretty straightforward title. But in order to outrank your competition, John, we want to build that into a 4-word phrase as best we can. And that's what we'll be brainstorming with you in your consultation. You and your coach will come up with some ideas about what other words we could add to that. Now, and you're going to need to make suggestions too. Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know what other words we'd add to that. But that's why doing this in a collaborative together makes this so powerful. Okay, next is Sherry. Sherry is a marketing communications project manager. So that really shows me that you're a fast learner, Sherry, because you adapted immediately this to a 4-word phrase here. Next, again, if you're we're not taking other questions at this point. We will get back and try to answer all of your questions here today in the time we've got, but please don't input any other questions as we're doing this, because what happens is it causes the chat box to scroll. And if we don't get to your questions today, we will get to everyone's questions. We'll respond to you by email. We're going to do everything we can in the hour until we get to the top of the hour here. So let's do some more examples. Todd is a senior survey technician. So again, you don't want to abbreviate senior there, Todd. We want to make sure, because that's not how people would search for that, and we want to build that into a four-word phrase as best we can. Joy is Director of Strategic Sourcing. So this is a good one, but we want to drop the word of. That's kind of a filler word. And here's an important thing for you to understand. Your keyword strategy is separate from your branding strategy. How you're going to position yourself is different. And so your keywords might be like, you might think like for the controller, I don't want to add other words to that. That's going to pigeonhole me. Those are keywords you want to show up in. When it comes to branding you, you're going to be branded using a different set of keywords, or slightly different. So Jennifer, for example, is a trainer. We want to add some more words to that. Mark Walters is a financial analysis and planning manager. Okay, this is an important lesson. We never want to use and in our keyword phrase, either the and symbol or the word and. And is what's called a Boolean indicator. It gives a specific command to search engines. What it's telling them, Mark, and everyone should be listening and learning from this, is I don't want to show up in the search unless the words analysis and planning are right next to each other. And that's not, we want maximum exposure. So we never want to use and in building our keywords. These are just some of the subtleties that goes into building your keywords. Alexandra is a business analyst. We've helped lots of business analysts, Alexandra. We do want to make that into a four-word phrase to make it more powerful. Yulia is a clinical research associate / specialist. Okay, words like associate, specialist, professional are kind of filler words. And yes, they complete the title. They make it a title instead of just being nouns and verbs. But for keyword search purposes, those are kind of filler words. People don't search for those words. They search based on the skills they want the person to have. So it's best, we certainly wouldn't want to use two of those, and if we can eliminate all of those, that gives you an even better keyword strategy. Marianne is a public health advocacy educator. So Marianne, pretty good four-word phrase. We don't want to use a slash or anything in our keywords because that's combining the words in terms of how the search engine views that. Richard is a VP, head of technology, PMO, project management office. So again, we've got too many words here, Richard. And I'd love for you to rank for all those things, Richard. I'm sure that's what you're thinking. You're on the right track. But here's what happens is if we try to rank for more than 4 words, it won't work because there'll be too many words and it'll dilute the results. So we have to build that into the best 4-word phrase we can. The words we take out can become secondary keywords. They can still be part of your strategy, but not part of your primary phrase. Scott is a service operations director. That's a strong 3-word phrase. You can have a 3-word phrase, but it's better if we add the 4th word to it. Michael is a national account executive. Now with salespeople, it's interesting because every company calls their salespeople slightly something different. But recruiters know that. So as long as you optimize for any one variation of your job title, you're still going to get lots of good searches and views for all the different variations. Betty is a senior reinsurance analyst. Good 3-word phrase. Again, don't abbreviate things like senior, and let's try to add a 4th word to that if we can. Jim is a facilities manager. We want to build that into a 4-word phrase, Jim. We'll be working with you in your session for that. Anthony is a customer service director. Again, I'm seeing a lot of good 3-word phrases here, but it's better if we can build these into 4-word phrases. Let's see here. Next is Marsh. Marsh works in human resources. So with human resources, we want to use words like manager or director, human resources. We also want to realize that LinkedIn's algorithm is smart enough to recognize some abbreviations. Like they know HR means the same as human resources, so we can optimize you for HR and save one of our words. Same thing with like vice president. We don't have to write that out in full. We can use VP and they'll know that. So Joel's director of development. We want to drop the of and come up with 2 other words that are related to that. Sylvia is a communications specialist. we want to, again, add 2 more words to that. And so here's what's going to happen next in your session. And so let's start right at the beginning. This will just be real quick, and then we're going to go into the 3 biggest mistakes everyone makes on LinkedIn. But once you've completed your enrollment, which each of you have done, you're going to fill out a short intake form. There's a little bit of basic information we need about your LinkedIn in order to complete this for you. And so you'll fill out that form. Then what you're going to see is our calendar will be there. And the calendar is going to have all of the available time slots we have to do your consultation. Right now we're booking the end of next week, and mostly we're booking into the following week because we are fairly sold out. All of next week is pretty much sold out. There's some spots at the end of the week, though, and into next week. And then we have spots in the evening. We have spots during the day. We have spots on the weekends. Whatever works for you guys. Just pick a spot that works for you. And so what this is, it's a 60-minute consultation. We do everything for you in 60 minutes. All the steps on LinkedIn. It's a 10-step process that you'll go through with our coach. And at the end of the session, you'll be completely done on LinkedIn. And so if you have any questions in the session, you can ask the coach. The coaches are very good at answering questions about profile optimization. But one thing I do want you to understand is the coaches are not me. There's no mini-me's out there doing this. And in order for me to work with this many people, I have to have coaches that I've trained. They're very good at doing the profile optimization. But if you have questions about other things on LinkedIn, they're not me. I want you to bring those questions to me so you get the best answer from me. Every week you and I have a weekly coaching call. It's a group call that we're all on, and everyone brings their questions. And you learn a lot from the great questions that everyone else asks in this. So bring your questions to me every week. Also, you can't pick up the phone and call us or email us with questions. You need to bring those to the weekly coaching call. We meet every week. Usually it's on Thursday afternoons, and that'll start after you have your consultation. So in your consultation, we do your keyword strategy. We work with you and build the best keyword phrase for you, and then we do your LinkedIn profile optimization. And then you're done on LinkedIn. Then you move into phase 2. In phase 2 with us, you develop your, we do for you rather, your Google SEO with those keywords. So we take your keywords. You don't need to be there. You don't need to do anything for the Google SEO. We take your keywords and we do all of the link building, all of the page optimization. We do your SEO. It takes us about 3 to 5 days after your consult to complete your Google SEO. Also, that's when we do your Twitter automation. That's done in phase 2. And then you're into the group coaching calls as well. So that's what to expect next once you enroll in our program. Let's go next to the 3 biggest mistakes that everyone makes on LinkedIn, because I know some of you have been staying with us waiting for this, and I want to cover this. It's real important that you understand these 3 things. Any one of these can really cause you to not get results in your job search. The first one is you need to realize you only get 3,000 lifetime invites on LinkedIn. Once you use them up, you're done. Now, 3,000 sounds like a lot, but for a lifetime, it's not that many. How I recommend you use your 3,000 is like this. Set aside 500 to 1,000 for connecting with super connectors. 1/3 of your allotment should go to super connectors. 1/3 should go for people you know, maybe 500 to 1,000 people you used to work with, and then you'll have 500 to 1,000 left for the future. That's how you want to allocate your 3,000 invites. Also, here's the trick to this. If you receive an invite, it doesn't count as one of yours. The receiver is not using their invite. So if you meet somebody at a networking event, what you want to do to follow up is send them an email that says, will you please connect with me on LinkedIn? Here's a link to my LinkedIn. So that they send you the invite and you receive it, so you're not using one of your 3,000 invites. They're using their 3,000. That's the trick to managing your invites. And once you become a super connector, it's easy. You don't have to worry about this problem anymore. This is why it's so important to become a super connector, because then people are sending you invites all day long. That's what I get. That's how I've grown to almost 18,000 connections now, but I still have only used like 1,500 of my invites. So that's really important mistake that people make, is inviting like too many people, not using their invites strategically, and not receiving the invites. Second is you want to make it easy for people to connect with you by showing your email address. Many of you have been asking for my email address. What you're realizing is you can't connect with me on LinkedIn without my email. Well, my email is right there at the top of my profile summary. That's where you need to learn to look for people's email address. And you need to put your email address there. Think of how many people may have already looked at your profile and wanted to connect with you, wanted to give you access to their network, wanted to help you get a job, but they didn't have your email address. Put your email right at the top of your summary so people can easily find it and easily connect with you. Lastly, put your phone number on your profile so people can call you. You're not going to get any calls if your phone number is not prominently displayed. You don't get solicitors calling you from LinkedIn because less than 1% of people on LinkedIn even have their phone number on there to begin with. So solicitors don't waste a lot of time on LinkedIn. They can just go to the other places on the internet and find all the phone numbers they want. Put your phone number on there so companies and recruiters can call you. So I want to again say thank you to our sponsors. I want to put this slide up with our sponsors here. And I want to try to crank out as many of these questions as we can here as far as people that were asking things about LinkedIn and about our program. David's saying he'd like a pharmaceutical medical sales manager position. That's not corporate. That's definitely an area that would work very well with LinkedIn though, David. Mimi is saying she has two questions that were asked. The first is she's out of work. If you're out of work, then absolutely you need these strategies. Remember, the slide I showed was if you're any one of these three categories, if you're in work or out of work, you really need to get everything going for you when you're out of work. You need to learn how to position yourself to stand out from the crowd when you're out of work. Otherwise, they're going to really hold that against you that you've been out of work for so long. Also, if you're moving, if you're relocating to a new area, it's an uphill battle. You know, you're not going to, you know, I can't promise you anything if you're relocating to a new area. I can't promise anyone anything, but you definitely need these strategies to help you get more opportunities into your funnel. I mean, what's the alternative? You're just going to give up? You know, so if you're out of work or you're relocating, those are really hard challenges. If you're facing age discrimination, I know that's a place where we've helped a lot of people overcome that with our branding workshop. If you're transitioning into new industries like my wife was, those are all situations that are very difficult, but you need these Be Found strategies to help you overcome all of those things. If you're transitioning into new positions, then you definitely want to come to the branding workshop. David said that, you know, he's trying to break into a new industry. David, here's what I would do, and I'll make the same offer to everyone. Come to the career branding workshop tomorrow, or if you can't make it tomorrow, watch the recording on Monday. And this will show you how to reposition yourself so that you can break into new industries. This made all the difference for my wife. It just repackages how you present yourself and shows employers what you can do for them. And this will make such a big difference in your job search. I want you to have the training from the Career Branding Workshop. Come to that tomorrow. Buy the program today. Take one of those last few spots. And if you don't love it after the Career Branding Workshop, if you feel like, you know, I'm not going to get that much out of this, you can have your money back, no questions asked. Come try the Branding Workshop. I'm confident you're going to love it, and then you're going to really want to get more exposure once you now know how to, you know, present yourself better. So let's continue to go through the questions here. Actually, I want to go back and welcome some of you that have just joined us here today. I want to acknowledge, try to acknowledge everyone who's joined us here today. If I didn't read your name, don't worry, you're in the program. If you're in the program, if you got one of our spots, our system will shut down and not let anyone else in once we're sold out. Also, if I didn't read your job title, don't worry. Again, our system will will shut down once you're in. You're in the program if you're in the program. But let me read off some more names here. Malin Barash, Marlene Hutchinson, Sandra Jo Cello, Aaron Smith, Evelyn Hobbs, Jose Antello, Beth Forrest, John Cox. I might have read some of these before. Bradley Reel, Kyle Finlinson, Randy Schmidt, Donna Quilty, Betty Blamato. I remember that one from before. So I read some of those before. It does look like we've now sold all of the spots in the program, and the program is completely sold out. There was someone asking about deferred start date. You can buy the program now and start down the road. I would recommend you schedule your LinkedIn consult for the day you want down the road. We allow you to schedule for up to 3 weeks out because we do book out up to 2 weeks in advance. Also, Bradley, it looks like you didn't get the coupon code to work. You accidentally paid $6.97. Don't worry about that, Bradley. I'm going to credit the difference back to you. You will see a charge for the full $6.97. There's nothing I can do about that. That's the price you checked out at. But I'll issue you a credit for the difference. You should see that coming back next week, so that you still get the special savings today. Also, it looked like Michael Johansson purchased twice. So Michael, I'm not sure if that's an accident or if you were looking to buy this maybe for your spouse or for a friend or something. If you could just input that into the chat box. And I see, okay, so you want me to credit that one back. I'll go ahead and do that, Michael. I'll cancel that one out. So what that means is, Michael, you were actually taking up 2 spots. I thought we were full. There is now one last spot left in the program. Again, once we're sold out, we're sold out. We literally can only fit so many people into the program. It's because of the personal and manual processing of everything that we're doing here for you. You can buy the program again next week, but you'll be looking at scheduling 2 weeks out. You'll also be looking at paying extra for the upgrade, and you won't get the career branding bonuses or the discount that our sponsors are giving only for today. So if you want that one last spot, now is the time to act to do that. I'm going to put up my contact information here. Some people were asking to see that slide again. Let me load that up again. It has my email address. Again, also my email address is in my profile. Those of you that are on LinkedIn trying to connect with me, my email address is there on my profile, and again, I've put it here up on the screen. We're almost out of time here. We do have this scheduled to end at the top of the hour, and so I wanted to put this slide back up real quick. Some people were asking about going back to this slide. I also wanted to give away another bonus to those of you who've stayed till the very end here today. What I'm going to do is I've put together a training that's an introduction to branding. Branding's so important in your job search. And I'm going to give this away, a free ticket to this, to everyone who has stayed with us here till the end and does one thing. All you need to do is send a status update about today's training. Talk about something that you learned or that you liked this webinar and send that out to your network. Be sure to include a link to jobsearchsmarter.com. And Megan, if you could put that URL, http://www.jobsearchsmarter.com in your status update. And everyone who does this will be eligible, will get a ticket to the branding training, and you'll be eligible for a contest I want to run. I just thought of this off the top of my head, but the 3 people that do the best status update, I will give away our video training to you. And again, that's a $400 value. I realize there's people here today that want our help and just can't afford it, and I want to show you that I'm sincerely about helping everyone. So what you need to do is a status update. If you look at my screen, this is how to do a status update. It should say something that you learned or that you liked about today's training. When you send this out, you're telling your network, your connections about the training, and they're going to thank you. They're going to be glad you shared this with them. And also, that helps me spread the word, and it helps me do better for my sponsors so that they'll sponsor more trainings in the future. What I'll do is use LinkedIn Signal. See this shot here? This is how I can use Signal to track everyone who shares the link. This is why it's so important you share our link to jobsearchsmarter.com. Everyone who shares the link, I can track you through this, and I'll send you a ticket to that branding training that's going to be coming up. It's not the full branding workshop like my clients get who joined us. They'll get that tomorrow, but it is an introduction to branding training that I've put together that's really good. Other people are paying to come to it. It's a $50 ticket if you don't partake in this contest, but if you partake in this, you'll get a free invite to that. And here's, again, just some examples of what people said the last time we did this training. These were, so if you said something like one of these, you would win the contest and would get the free video training that will help you, show you step by step how I do everything. And also that free video training includes a copy of today's webinar. One last thing that I wanted to mention was that over on Amazon.com, for those of you that are Kindle readers, there is a Kindle version of today's webinar. And so if you wanted to get it, it's basically a transcript of today's webinar that we put into a book. You can buy that over at Amazon. If you go to Amazon and put in my name, Greg Wells, and LinkedIn, you should see the book there. And it has a lot of what we've covered here today. I think it's only priced at $3 right now because we've just rolled that out recently. That's over on Amazon.com. You can see the published version of of today's training, and that has a lot of the slides here as well. So that's another resource for some of you that want more affordable things and can't afford the full Done For You program. The Done For You is the fastest way to get the results. And so we are at the top of the hour now. I want to congratulate those of you that have joined us. And again, if we didn't get to your questions, I apologize. I know Karen is saying she would have bought the package if we answered her question. There's just so many questions, and we've done so much in the time we can here, Karen. You're welcome to call us. Our number is on all of our websites if you have questions, but the program is pretty much sold out right now anyways. There was just that one spot left. I would encourage you just to buy the last spot there. And if you have questions or are not sure if you're a fit, we can talk to you after the fact. But claim your spot right now by going to FindCaliforniaJobs.com/special. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. Again, if I didn't read your name or answer your question, I apologize. We couldn't get to everyone today, but thanks again for making this a success. Be sure to check us out on Amazon.com. Look for Greg Wells, LinkedIn, and we will be doing this training again probably in another month or so, so you can come back and see us again as well. I look forward to hearing your success stories about how you were found and how we helped you. That's what keeps me motivated and keeps me going. Thanks again, and have a great weekend, everyone.